Hello and welcome. So, it's been quite a while since I recorded anything or uploaded anything. Let's see, how long has it actually been? Well, I'm not even going to check. It's been probably a few months. But yeah, so I've been getting started a couple days ago in Cyber Stadium, and figured I would go ahead and make a quick video about it just to talk about it for anybody who doesn't know. It's made by the same team as Crypto Raiders, and it's fairly interesting. I don't know if I'd call it really much of a game. It's more of a project in exercising your mind on game theory and when to choose to fight. So the way it works is you come onto the site, you can either buy them on secondary or you can just mint here, and you need 100 USDC. You just type it in, 1, and hit mint, and then after that it will show up over here, and you can click on it and select the name, select the avatar, and then go over to buy and reveal catch-up boxes. And right now, as you saw in the mint screen, you'll be able to buy 40. It's based off of how far behind the character is, how many battles there have been that they weren't involved in. And you just open all these up and hopefully get some decent gear to start out with. This is what this character got. And then they're automatically in the training ground, so you just leave them in the training ground until you feel they're strong enough to enter the stadium. Now every day in the training ground at 3:30 Central Time, there will be a fight, and you will get a piece of loot whether you win or lose. The odds of what you get will be much better if you win than if you lose. So you want to win every fight, but you're going to lose some. So this is a character that I actually just bought off the market, and it's fairly decent gear score. I don't know how long it takes for this gear to pop up on new characters and the gear score to pop up here. It doesn't really matter, because after one day they start showing the stats and their win-loss and everything. It's just nice to have this here, so I don't know how long it'll take for that to show up on these other ones, but it shows up on this one that's been around for quite a while. So you can click on them and see their stats, win, losses, all that, and activity, and go through. And if you want to watch, it won't show the most recent day or two, but if you go back a little bit, you can hit details, and you can actually see exactly how the battle went out. On the most recent battles, you can also click on the view link and go to logs and see how the battle went here, if you want to see one that just happened. And then the way the stadium works, once you decide to enter it, is this is the treasury. This is the total prize pool that exists. Currently 192,693 USDC, and 1% of that each day will be given out to the gladiators that enter the stadium. The downside of entering the stadium is that if you lose, you die permanently and your character is burned. But you get the money either way. So right now it's at 113 USDC per gladiator, so everybody in here, if it started right now, would get 113 USDC, and since the mint price is only 100, right now it would make sense to just mint one for 100, toss it in here, get 113, and make a little bit of profit. Obviously, this number is going to go down. It will never be over 100, because if it is ever over 100, somebody will just mint a character and toss it in here, and their character will die, but they'll get a free little bit of profit. And there's a tiny chance that there's an odd number that they'll get a buy, and then they really make a lot of profit. So there will always be enough characters in here to get that below 100. But if your character is strong enough to compete, and you can see full details, and you can kind of see what the averages are, and you can sort by whatever you want to sort by, whatever stat, and you generally want to make sure your character is at least able to beat half of the character or the gladiators in here before you're thinking about sending them in, and having a reasonable chance of winning. So these are my current cast of characters. I think my strongest one with potential is Prudence here, currently 2-0, and if we take a look at the gear, has really good roll legendary weapon, decent roll legendary armor, decent epic trinket, Defense is fine. I think it's the second best stat behind attack to have on here. So this is completely fine. It just needs a better secondary to get that attack up, and a better helmet to get the HP and defense up a little bit more. And this character will, if they get those two rolls, will certainly be a beast and be able to ascend into the arena. And I'm looking forward to that. And you can kind of see here too, versus the current characters in the stadium, what their stats are and what percentage they're in. Like defense is really good, attack's good, special defense is really good, speed is okay on this one. So it's really just that attack and HP that need to get up, which will happen if this gets a, for example, legendary secondary and legendary helmet. These will shoot up quite a bit, and this character will be ready for fighting. And then you can see in here too, some of these characters have made decent money just with the number of wins that they have. This So Young's at 13 wins. I believe that's the most of anybody that is currently still alive. And you can of course go over to the leaderboard and add in dead and alive and see all time, and you can see Pandora made an absolute killing and was an absolute beast in the arena, which you'd expect from having four legendaries. That one trinket, that's probably the difference there between the reason why they eventually died, but I believe this was fairly early on, so they were an absolute monster in the arena for quite a while. And of course there's a few that have had, really 4 of them, that have had extreme success in the arena and made a bunch of money. So there's a few different groups of people on how I would personally go about playing this game, and that is people that only have one character. In my opinion, if you only have one character, I would never ever send them into the arena. Instead, what I would do is get them to the point where they're ready to enter the arena, and then sell them on the secondary for a profit and mint more characters. Right now it's going to cost you 140 really to get started on a new character, so if you can get like 300 for a character, then you can get 2 and double up your number of characters and farm them up in the training ground and just rinse and repeat as you get more characters. Eventually, my personal goal is to have enough characters that I always have one that is arena ready, send them into the arena, let them fight until they die in there, and then mint a new one with the money that I get from having them win a few arena fights, and then move on to the next one that is ready to go into the arena, and the next, and have a rotation going on so I always have one in the arena. In the meantime, I'm still just building up, so once you get probably over 10 characters, which I have 12 currently, you probably can start just, instead of selling them, unless you get a really good offer, you can probably just send them in and gamble. Maybe you get unlucky and get, you fight a monster, and then you just lose, and it feels pretty bad, because then you only get, let's say 80 USDC for a character that you spent a lot of time on getting, letting them train and get upgrades, and you spent 140 just on buying them and getting the boxes. This one I think I've spent only like 110 or 120 buying from the secondary, but you get the idea. So, but sometimes you'll just go on a winning streak and make a few hundred extra USDC that you can put into getting more characters. I don't know exactly how many characters you would need to be able to permanently have a rotation going into the arena, but that is my current goal, is to try and get to that point. This character's also got kind of great attack here, and that's with a rare weapon, but it's because it has the rare trinket as well. But yeah, this one will eventually, if you can get an upgrade to the trinket and an upgrade to the weapon, could also be a contender in the stadium. But I'm just going to keep trying to build up. And yeah, I think that's it for a basic overview of the game. You're just trying to determine when you send them in. Of course, once you get a bunch of characters, it's also worth thinking about, like, you have one that's, these are 0 and 2, obviously I'm going to give them, 10, 12 days at least, maybe 20 days, to see how their win percentage shakes out over time, and if they can get some upgrades. Like, this character should, if they just get matched against somebody relatively weak, they should be winning some fights. with these stats. So I'm not too worried about this character. They should start winning some. You really need an armor upgrade badly. But they should start winning, so I'm not too worried about that one. But like this one, I'm a little bit worried about because they did not hit a trinket at all. They have a legendary armor, which is nice, but they really need to get a trinket of some sort to get some speed and get some more stats. Having nothing there really hurts. So I'll watch these, and if one of them seems to be, like they're, 1 in 12 or something, or 2 in 18 after 20 weeks, then it may be time to consider just either selling them, near the floor price on OpenSea to try and get the, some of your money back, and then mint a new one and go again and hope to get better luck on the catch-up boxes, or just saying, oh, well, this is a dud, and sending it into the stadium to die, and you get your 80 or 90 USDC back out of it from them competing in the stadium. And if you get really lucky, maybe you get a whole bunch of counterattacks against somebody else that's weak and you manage to win somehow, or you happen to be on an odd number and you get a buy, and you get a free $80 or $90, and they get to fight again the next day, and then you made a profit off the character. So that's kind of my plan, and what I think is worth considering. It's probably always better just to sell on secondary with duds, and if you can find a buyer at around 100, 110, then you only lose a little bit compared to losing $40, $50, $60 if you send them into the arena and they die the first time. But the whole goal is to get characters that are monsters, and you can send in and get them on a nice winning streak, and then reinvest it all into more characters so that you can keep the cycle going. Or just taking your profit and running if you would prefer to do that. Personally, I'm just going to keep building up my basic characters. So this is Cyber Stadium in its current state. I'm actually kind of enjoying messing around with it, and looking forward to seeing my characters actually go in and fight. It's super hype at 3:30 every day when they lock up the characters and you see characters start popping up in the graveyard and see who lived and who died. Yesterday, Char died to So Young, which was a huge upset. You can see that this character was an absolute monster. Legendary weapon, high roll legendary secondary, high roll legendary armor, good legendary defense trinket, and just a rare helmet, and they lost by 1 HP. So if this had been a legendary helmet as well, that would have almost certainly been a win. But at the same time, it might have been another 30, 40, 50 weeks of, or 30, 40, 50 days of sitting in the training arena before they managed to find a helmet upgrade. So I definitely understand sending them in there, and they did make a profit on the character, but obviously extremely disappointing for them to lose this absolute monster. I believe people have run the simulation on that fight, and Char had like a 80% win rate or something, or 85% chance of winning against So Young, but anything can happen. So Young got a couple of counterattacks in and managed to pull off the huge upset, and that's what can happen. Nobody's really safe in the arena. There's a couple of characters that could absolutely beat So Young, even though they're on a 13-week win streak. That will not last forever if they stay in there. Nobody's can last forever, no matter how strong their character is. And that's kind of the fun and the gamble of this, and the game theory of deciding when's the time to send your character in. Are they so much of a dud that you should send them in to get a little bit back and mint a new character and try again for better rolls? Or are they strong enough to get some wins and make you a profit? Should you send them in now? I'm always looking at this character that I bought and thinking every day, well, there's some that are in here that are undeniably weaker. If I scroll down, there are some that I would absolutely beat down here, but the majority of the time if I fought them. And so should I send them in? But on the other hand, if I fight, Hannibal Lecter, I'm almost guaranteed to lose. I'm just going to get completely slaughtered. So do I just wait? My inclination on this character is to just wait, because it does have a decent win percentage in training, so I'm getting the better loot boxes. Eventually I'm going to hit some upgrades. I hit some upgrades the other day, got some better armor. I really need to upgrade the trinket in the secondary, and if I do that, this could be a character I send in absolutely. So yeah, that's I kind of rambled on longer than I wanted to, but that's the game, and that's what it's all about. And you should give it a shot if you want. It's quite a bit of fun to see, see just what you can do with it, and seeing the characters live or die each day. It's definitely a lot more hardcore than some of the other games I've played. So, alright, have a nice day. See you next time.